Hello and welcome to Michi Designs. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this welt pocket on this bumper jacket. You can actually find this pocket in suits, blazers, corporate wears, and gowns. These days you can see them on casual wears as well. So I made this bumper jacket for myself and I added this welt pocket, and I thought it wise to make a separate tutorial on the pocket. So now let's get started. So this is my jacket. I've joined the front and back together. So from the center front where the zipper allowance is, you mark 8 inches away from that center front. Then on that 8-inch mark, you go up by 2 inches before you draw your pocket opening. So I'm making sure it's still 8 inches on that 2 inches mark. Then from that 2 inches mark, you go up by 6 inches. So the pocket opening is going to be 6 inches. You can use 5 inches, is your preference. So but I'm using 6 inches for this video tutorial. So on that 6-inch mark, now I'm going to use my chalk to connect a straight line for the pocket opening. So after connecting this straight line, I'm going to form a rectangle for this pocket opening, a 1-inch rectangle. So I'm going to mark half an inch on each side of this line at both ends, and then I'll connect them together to form a rectangle. So on that 6-inch mark, I'm marking 1 inch, half inch on each side of the line. So I'm connecting the lines now. So for easier understanding, I'm going to be using these pieces of black fabric for illustration. So on that rectangle that you marked, you go in by half an inch on the midline and mark 2 diagonal lines back towards the end of this 6-inch mark. As you can see me doing, you go in by half an inch on that midline from each end and then mark 2 diagonal lines from that half an inch back to the 6-inch mark on both sides of the rectangle. After marking it, you will now bring in your pocket bag and lining and then your welt to place on that rectangle and sew. So your pocket lining should be 1 inch shorter than your pocket bag, because your welt is going to be exactly 1 inch. The size of the wideness of your pocket opening is 1 inch, but it has to be longer by 1 inch. So this welt is 7 inches long, but 1 inch wide, because you're going to be leaving half an inch on each side of this welt when you're sewing that you're going to be using to turn it out. Then your pocket bag and your pocket lining as well will be 7 inches long, exactly 1 inch longer than the pocket opening. So now I'm going to mark the 2 diagonal lines here. And then I'll place the welt on one side of the line towards the center front, and then I'll place the pocket lining on top, making sure that the right sides are facing the right sides of your jacket, as you can see. Then I'll place the pocket bag on the other side, other rectangle on top towards the side seam. Then I'm going to sew on each line of this rectangle now. The one on the down towards the center front, I'll sew exactly on that line. So I'm going to be using half an inch on the pocket bag to sew, and then I will leave the midline unsewn. After sewing, I've already sewn it there down. I'm removing my pins now. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut open that midline that we left unsewn. It's exactly 1 inch there on the sewing on both sides. Exactly one. Make sure that your sewing stops at that 6-inch mark, please. You shouldn't extend it to the 7 inches. So you have excess of half an inch on each side of the pocket bag and the lining. So I'm slitting the midline open now. Remember, the stitching stopped at the 6-inch mark of the pocket opening. So I'm slitting it open. Once I get to that half-inch mark where we made 2 diagonal lines, I'm now going to cut it towards the diagonal lines that we made close to the seam. But make sure you don't cut open your seam. So you have to be careful while cutting it. So I'm going to do the same thing towards the end of the 6-inch mark as well. Once I get to that 1/2 inch, I'll cut towards the diagonal lines that I made earlier. And then once I'm done, I'm going to be turning the pockets over to the wrong side of this jacket. As you can see me now, I'm going to be turning them over. So I'm flipping them over. Remember, we have extra 1/2 inch on each side of the pocket bags left unsewn. So that's what I'm using to flip them over now. I'm not going to be flipping this welt because it's going to form as a covering on that pocket opening. But I'm just going to pick the excess on the welt, which is 1/2 inch on each side. That dot tail that will cut out from the diagonal lines is from the dot tail there. I'll pick that one as well. The pocket bag, I'll use it to cover the lining, and then I'm going to stitch them close. I'm going to be stitching them close to form the pocket bag at the wrong side of this jacket now. Making sure you don't sew on your jacket. You need to be very careful. You only pick the dot tail, the excess 1/2 inch for the pocket bag and lining, as well as the welt, and then you sew everything together to close your pockets. The welt and the pocket lining are now equal. The total length is now equal to the pocket bag. So now this is the right side. I'm done sewing it. This is now the right side, and this is the wrong side where the pocket bag is. So you have your neat pocket in front there, and this is the final look. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. See you in my next class. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Bye.